Hello, welcome back to Help 100 Schools. I'm Karl Boehm, and I wanted to take this opportunity to do a solo episode because we had a really fantastic question come through that we thought could be really helpful, and that is, how do you use YouTube for private schools? And it's such a far-reaching and impactful platform that it really can't be ignored. In fact, at the end of a presentation that was actually about editorial calendar development, someone said, what is the best channel that is underutilized by private schools? And I immediately knew the answer was YouTube. It's the #2 search engine in the world. Of course, it's owned by Google and it has billions of users, which for most of us in the United States means that the target audience, those student family personas, the perfect families, they have YouTube channels, accounts. They have accounts, and in most cases, so do the students. It's starting at really young ages now. Children will use YouTube. If you're a parent, you already know this, and it's very engaging, and there's a number of uses that would be very helpful for a private school. So let's get into it. Okay, starting with the front door in a way. Your private school has this opportunity to introduce themselves to the world on YouTube. So the welcome video, whether it's from your head of school or from your director of missions or for a combination of staff, then providing the background, any footage that you have of the school, the better you have, the better the footage you have helps. However, if you don't have super professional footage, you're telling the story of your school in a way that it is where you are now. And in many ways, YouTube helps you catalog the chapters of the story of your school. So wherever you are right now is okay. You're going to find fits with the student families that work for you, and that will continue to evolve. So all this to say, don't be paralyzed by whatever equipment you have or whatever footage you have. I mean, there's always exceptions to to that rule, and you can use some common sense. However, in most cases nowadays, with these supercomputers in our pockets and with smartphones that have cameras that are as good as professional cameras were years ago, you can shoot pretty good photography and take videos with your phone that would be suitable to begin. And again, as you increase production value, then that just adds increasing impact, and it's an evolution as everything is. So in looking at how else to use YouTube for your private school, there's two major categories to consider: paid and unpaid. I won't spend too much time on paid today because it could be its own masterclass. However, just know that YouTube, because it's connected to Google, Google Ads will show YouTube videos as part of their advertising platform. So if you put a video on YouTube, you can connect it through your Google Ads account and increase distribution significantly. Okay, there's a number of controls where you can target by very specific geography. You can target by interest, by keyword. You can show the video to people who are watching specific channels that might be popular. For example, there could be other educational channels that you think would be appropriate. There might be a local channel who has a lot of followers that you think, okay, that would be really a qualified audience. And PS, you can get quite a lot of impressions for a cost that is just a fraction of what you would see on something like a cable station advertising, TV advertising, but you'll get major impressions as though it was on something like that. So there's paid and there's unpaid. From the unpaid side, you may just wonder, well, okay, what do we do? Do we just take videos of our plays, of our sports games? Yes, and yes, those are great things to do. There's many other opportunities like collecting stories from your parents, collecting stories from your students, and of course, you need to make sure you cover the permissions, which hopefully your school does. If you're doing much social media, then you probably already are doing something to the effect of waivers. And consider the departments or the different programs that you have so that you can catalog and compartmentalize what other kinds of videos might be helpful. So if you have a strong math program, strong STEM, strong drama, strong arts, strong whatever else you have at your school, then you could actually collect videos that will help showcase that in a way that's helpful. Now, you can come up with videos that would be entertaining, would be engaging, so built to be fun, for example. It doesn't have to be that serious. It could be something where you're actually showcasing a lesson plan, and you may take that academic lesson very seriously, depending on the style, personality of your school. But that does not have to be the case. The formats are worth considering with YouTube. So, for example, at the time of this recording, they now have YouTube Shorts, which is competing with the Instagram Reels and the Facebook Reels, and they are tend to be short form. They're shot vertically, like you would with a smartphone, typically, if you're just holding it with one hand, um, and they they're built to be engaging. It's on the interest graph, so you're already, by the nature of what you are taking video of, how you title it, you should already start to show up for those that are interested in that particular topic. Okay, so while we're considering the features, since I mentioned that this is great for search engine optimization, it's well worth considering the terms and words that you're using, the keywords in your captions and your title, so that it is appropriately descriptive to those who might be searching for that topic or that category. So spend a little bit of time and just making sure to think through the lens of your audience, of what is it that they would want to be searching for in order to see that particular video. And a lot of times descriptive is helpful as long as it's contextually interesting. So that's something to keep in mind. Another big piece of the feature and related to the algorithm is you want to try and be interesting and engaging, if not a little bit different in the first couple of seconds, because that's where the user decides if they're going to spend the time. So this might feel a little bit more advanced, but have fun with it. It doesn't have to be something that you overthink. And the first couple of seconds of a video, how can you just kind of catch their eye to say, okay, this is going to be interesting? So keep that in mind as a trend. The SEO is really interesting because now YouTube has been around for something like 20 years, and the longevity is fantastic. So in considering the inverse of the chapters of the book telling the story of your school, the longevity that you get to maintain for each of those videos is pretty long. So that's another great reason to use YouTube, because you're building equity in a platform that people will continue to use throughout the years and depending on the season of their lives. So just because a video doesn't necessarily resonate with everybody in your target audience right now doesn't mean that it won't next fall or in the spring, et cetera, right? So keep that in mind. And with that, I don't want to make this too long of a video. I think that there's a lot of room for play, but more than anything, go for it. You could, if you like, you can start a podcast, not to be too, not to plug, but you already like the channel, right? And you're on the medium. So it's not too difficult. There's lots of different kinds of podcast shows and considerations that you could make. But if you need any help, you have any questions or you have any comments, please let us know on YouTube or wherever you're consuming this, and like and subscribe. Thank you so much.